Let's get started with our afternoon.
I hate my life. Good morning, guys. It's Kathy. I hope you're doing well today. Anyway, Judge Sala, we have an end to this one, an end. We normally don't have ends with Judge Sala. It's like, come back next month, do this, and that. But for once, this is the final hearing of this one. I think I sounded better when I was muted. Wednesday night, guys. Come out Wednesday night. That one's pretty spicy, too. But let's get to this one.
We are back in the matter of the King children, file 24177NA. All right, we are back on record to continue the review, permanency planning, and hearing on the petition for termination of parental rights. And the names of our participants, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Nicole Underwood, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Nastasia Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Latour.
Megan Latour, foster care worker.
Michael Brooks, I'm the attorney for Mr. King.
Justin King, the King minor's father.
Okay, we're looking for Ms. Berger on behalf of, yes, the child, one of the children. Welcome back. Okay. So just to confirm, Ms. Thomas, you're done with your witness testimony. Ms. Berger, you didn't have any witnesses, and well, I haven't asked Ms. Berger yet. I know we're working on Mr. Brooks's witnesses, actually. You were ready to call Mr. King. Is that how you'd like to proceed?
I call Mr. King to the witness stand.
Thank you, Mr. King. Come on up.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, Mr. Brooks, whenever you're ready.
My client has asked me to write down my email address.
It's a long email address.
My character witness from Fast Guys Automotive wants it.
Oh, sir, you have been asking this morning that I allow you to discuss your health issues, right?
Yes.
Begin.
I have I guess what's believed to be, I've given Michael Alvarani the email and he has not went over it. I'm not a doctor, but the doctor that you've seen on the screen has said that I could be a doctor. But I told him I don't want to be a doctor because I'll be taken advantage of like I am right now with my children. I said, if it was different standards, I probably would be as smart as I am. I'm not getting the benefit of doubt on anything. I just went through warfare here.
Sir, my question was, would you explain to the court what your health issues?
3 genes mutated, which cause polymorphism syndrome or serotonin syndrome.
And what does that mean?
Which it gives vitamin deficiencies real fast, which it doesn't allow your detoxification of your liver. There's a lot of issues. It's not just one. It's all mediated into one.
And how does that directly affect the decision the court's making today, whether or not you should have your parental rights terminated?
Now that I'm gaining ground and understanding what I went through in the last year, like I was trying to tell you, wrote down there, I believe I'm better positioned than I was 6 months ago.
Why?
Because my health's gaining ground.
Oh,
They want to do a 96-hour study. They haven't called me and told me yes, no. Well, they told me I only had right frontal matter, which I had both frontal matters. The posterior acronoid cyst is to do with the cerebral stem cell fluid in my 4th ventricle. It wasn't communicating well, so that has a lot of the issues what you guys are dealing with and seeing. And now that I'm understanding that and fixing that, why can't I correct all of it?
well, tell me again, because I'm
Nan, can you dumb that down for us? Listen, Nan is a very important nurse. She knows what he just said. She understands. She understands it. No, she doesn't.
I'm still not clear how these various
The variance.
maladies.
I can read it to
Let
you.
me finish my question. How do these various maladies impact your ability to adequately or appropriately care for your children?
Well,
What specifically?
I had, like I told you, I'd wanted to use her as a witness. Obviously, we can't, but she knew the issues and.
Who's she?
Kirsten, the kid's mother. She knew the issues where I would lay in bed 3 to 4 days last year because of it. And to not figure out where I'd stare off into space and slouch down in the seat or something. I'm not doing that as much now. So obviously the seizures that he was talking about, I'm getting under control. I have 3 heterozygous genes.
You have what?
I have 3 heterozygous genes.
What are those?
They cause the autism, apparently. MTHFR, MTR, and an MTRRR. And I can go farther.
Well, I don't know what that means.
Okay,
He's
the
a pirate.
genes, there means one variant is mutated. I have 3 out of my 5 that make up my genetic DNA.
All right, and what about those 3 genes?
Okay. They've caused a lot of issues you guys have seen and understanding. Nobody wants to believe because I'm not a doctor, of course. Now, I'll tell you.
And how did that impact the rearing of your children?
4 days after my children were taken, I had a blood test taken and Viral paid for it. A1298C heterozygous gene. A gene inherited from one parent has a variant while the other gene is normal. Enzymes.
Okay, sir, we're not gonna just read from the internet.
That's
This
not
is
the
your
internet, it's an
opportunity
email.
to testify. Mr. Brooks, if you could ask your next question.
Mr. King, let's try this tack. You have a variety of, you believe you have a variety of genetic and physical issues and psychological issues.
That I barely got to where I'm at today with, yes. I'm farther away from understanding them, but I understand them more than you guys do.
All right, now, to what extent before you started improving, were these impacting your ability to appropriately?
Somebody believes my pH level was 5.9, so I was very acidic, so I wasn't retaining and regaining any information that I should have been. I was very not alkaline, like you should be. You know, I've had to get ivermectin, I've had to get THC oil, I've had to get a guy that come from 2013, his kids were taken by, you know, and he was put on M1.
Sir, you're getting off the track.
I'm sorry.
You can't do that. You gotta, this is your time.
Right.
This is the only time. You're going to, last time at least.
Well, it's not gonna be my last time, because I'll fire you today.
I beg your pardon? Did you say something directly to me?
Yeah.
I'm not getting the benefit of the doubt on any of my medical contingencies here.
Okay.
He's gonna fire you, Mr. Brooks. Which we've all thought should happen every once in a while, but no one's ever said it before.
You work with me today.
Yes, I will.
Aside from your genetic issues, are there any physical issues?
Not now, other than me getting a car and getting back to work. The doctor don't want me to work that you've seen right there. He said, no, lift 5 pounds, don't move 5 pounds, don't push 5 pounds. But he didn't mention none of that to you because you didn't ask none of those questions. I have a video here if you'd like to see it
No.
from that doctor recorded.
Didn't you mention to me that you have some issues with autism?
Yes, that is the part of the 3 mutated genes. That's why I went hired to that doctor, Michael Alderani in Dearborn, to try to get them done, and he has not done them. He says, well, like everybody else, why don't you come around every 6 months? Well, I've been there a lot. Obviously, I didn't know what was, if I hadn't been there, I didn't know what's going on with my body, correct? Verl and my mother were paying for a wellness clinic, is how I found out this polymorphisms. I'm not just reading off the internet. This is from a doctor in Florida.
All right. You also mentioned that you have a brain tumor.
That's what they're saying is a stem cell, a posterior acronoid cyst, cerebral stem cell sac that was not communicating, it was getting bigger and it was pushing against my brain. He didn't explain that.
Again, how does that physical
It
condition,
was,
how does that physical condition impact your ability to rear your children?
it had then, I believe I'm moving right through it now. Obviously, I wouldn't be here doing all the things I am doing. And obviously, I was getting madder at one time in the court. Obviously, in March, I broke that phone because I was upset that nobody had got Leslie Conrad in trouble over slamming Lincoln up with the baby gate in his arms. You know, I went to New York City Times to try to get this exposed.
Leslie Conrad. Oh,
I'm upset. I'm
He's
a
fine.
dad that's tried for my kids. I even grew my kids while I was at the shop in Barrington to come see me. While I was going through this cancer that nobody can find. Well,
Now, hold on, yeah, I gotta say, back up. I tell the court about cancer.
Dr. Kelly, John Kelly, he was mom's doctor in Tecumseh at one time. Now, then he went to 6 to 8 years ago. He's right where Christina Yancey is at the, oh, what is that? The clinic out there across from the old Burger King. Glenway Medical Clinic, I guess. I haven't been there in a while, so I don't care what the name is. I got dyslexia, nobody understands. So I jump all around in fragments.
Well, it's hard to follow, sir.
I understand.
I was asking you a
That's real
question
hard to
about
follow.
cancer.
They told me that all these cysts grew from those things, from me the negative aspect of your pH level low.
And what is what type of cancer do you have?
I don't know what it is, but I know between all the deficiencies, the leukemia and the 3 genes mutated out of the 5 that make up your genetic DNA, the ACHY and this COMT is not genetically modified. That means it come great from my mother and my dad. But one other parent had a modified genetic DNA that threw at me. So now I've been having to deal with this all my life where I had burning stomach and I didn't know what, dude, my stomach's getting better. If you don't have a gut microbiome, you ain't nobody. I don't care what anybody is in this world.
You mentioned something about leukemia.
That's what John Kelly had told me I had 6 to 8 years ago. And I said I would use Kirsten because Kirsten was sitting right there in the room when we figured it out.
What treatment are you receiving?
They did
for
not receive anything. They did not give me anything. What nobody's understanding, I'm not bringing up anymore because it's old news that doesn't have nothing to do with it.
Are you contending that today you have leukemia?
I don't know, because if they didn't test me correctly, how would I know? If he just told me I did and I told him I'd sue him if I didn't. So he didn't poke at me because I'm not an experiment.
Well, let me explain if I can here. One of the defenses you have asked me, is to raise the issue of your various and sundry health issues.
Right.
And that
Because
they have an impact on your ability.
They give me high stress when I have low vitamins. Mood instabilities come from B2, B6, B9, B12, the vitamin D. When you're not taking them on in proper form and you're just pissing them right out, your kidneys, because you've had something wrong with you. Well, I have an email here that says negative high, COOHH, double bond OH. I don't know what that is, but I have a chemist I've been talking to on it. But it says negative high, so I don't know if I was poisoned with something this is Michael Alderani's email from his blood work. Something's going on and nobody's looking into who I am or what I need to be for my children. Why ain't nobody helping me? I can help.
I'm
everybody.
trying to give you the opportunity right now.
What I'm saying is, why aren't we getting anywhere faster?
I am trying right now to give you the opportunity that you say you wanted to discuss your health issues.
Right, because I have not been, like I explained to Megan out in the hallway, I have not been able to correctly. That's why me and you have friction, because you don't understand the way my mind thinks.
No, I don't.
That's what's wrong with this world. There's nobody to run it with an autistic in it. Individuals.
I hadn't gotten to that yet.
The world should have been doing that when Albert Einstein was around.
Here it is. Autism. You tell me you are autistic. Is that right?
Yes.
Are you being treated? Is there a treatment for autism?
You should have asked my doctor. I don't want pills because that's what killed my gut when I was a little boy, and it made me fit to kill somebody, and I will not take them because I don't believe in them. I believe they're petrochemicals, and I'm not into the biased. I'm into the unbiased stuff in life.
Are you doing anything for your autistic tendencies?
I gained, can I read off my Google chat that I built?
But
It says why neurotoxins get trapped and important for you. The cyst sits in an area where CSF.
well, the judge doesn't want you reading. I'm asking you in plain English.
The pressures increase in my neurotoxins and everything in my brain.
And what are you doing
Cerebral stem
to
cell.
control?
You should have asked my doctor. I don't know what he wants to do. They want to do a 96-hour study on me, and I don't have a house because the township won't let me get my property back there because, like you said, if we move the camper, I already did it. If we move the deck, I already did it. He's not come out there and allowed us to get a permit because he thinks something, you know.
We aren't to that yet. We're not there yet. Let me see if this will help you answer a question. If you got your kids back, hypothetically, today, are you in better mental and physical position today to raise those kids?
Than I was last July, yes.
In what sense? Tell me about your
Well,
personality and the way you conduct yourself.
I'm putting something together pretty diverse. I went to the Fiesta Ranchera and, you know, they got me out of jail. You know, Jose did. He told me I was a pretty well spirit, you know, now that I'm healing. And he said, you know, he's seen the various stages of my life in 21 years. You know, all these people ain't gonna come here because they got a life, you know what I mean? They make more money than just sitting here dealing with this. And to put something together like better than my stepdad and make generational wealth out of it for my kids, I couldn't do that for 5 to 8 years because I didn't know what's wrong with me. Now that I know what's wrong with me, 1 box of baking soda has been saving my life with a bag of lemons and water, right?
What do you do with your baking soda?
That's an Amish remedy
For what?
to re-emulsify your gut. You're a 1 part hydrogen and 2 parts bicarbonate.
Well,
So
what
sodium
specific health issue that we've discussed here today does this treat?
Something to do with gut dysbiosis or something. I ain't been told what I correctly have because like she.
I guess at this point I have to give a disclaimer, don't I? None of this is medical advice. Do not follow the instructions of the people on the screen at home, ladies and gentlemen. No, do not listen to what he's saying. Do not believe what he's saying. You can use baking soda, though, for lots of things. Just clean your stove with it. Clean your stove with it instead.
She said it was just off the internet, but the people that called me, when I got this email, I could tell you when it is. I think it's 11/26 or 24 from Florida. So 4 to 5 days.
Are you telling the court you are feeling better since you?
I'm feeling better and I feel like we need to do more for our Americans and our health.
Well, I'm not interested in all Americans, just your 5 kids.
Well, what I'm saying is my health matters and health has always mattered to me. Because my grandfather died, whether he got sick before, you know, got a car wreck. But what I'm saying is my mother, nobody understands what I understand right now through Google chat. I'm a very diverse human being. I improvise a lot. I'm trying to get back on top. I'm trying to get where I said. I just went with a buddy last night for 12 hours and owns Fast Guys. You know, soon I go up there and I talk to him and he gives me money.
Now, is there anything more you want the court to know about your health? Have I discussed?
You
Well, all right,
discuss-
I guess I forgot ADHD.
Yeah, that's what my mother said, but I'd like to find something, whether the B6 is in more natural form than what we're offered in life, you know, like. I got a trick up my sleeve somewhere, that's all I know. If I get dealt the wrong card today.
Now, where do you live?
I'm seeking housing from, like I told you.
We've
I had already
discussed it
had it.
many
Already
times.
had it 90 days. And then with all the crap going on, not having a car and all this money, now I got the money, now I just gotta get the car line again, or, you know, tire blew out yesterday. It's just been one thing and another. It's not excuses, it's human life, you know? It's nature, it happens.
Well, let's start with this. This has been going on for about a year. And the very first thing, and probably one of the last things you and I have discussed, is you need a place to live,
Correct.
right?
I just got a lump sum settlement. So I'm gonna make that happen. If the township doesn't get my trailer there, well, guess what? I gotta do something.
Well, that's
I
what
didn't
I
have
want
enough
to have.
money. I didn't have enough money to buy a motel each week to live like I did 5 years ago with them kids.
That's what I want to discuss with you, is you went out and obtained a mobile home, is that right?
We did, yes. My son Dustin found it. Me and Dustin went up there. Me and Verl went up there numerous times. Me and my mother went up there numerous times. The guy tried to shoot at me, so I didn't get back up there because I was sick. Well, then I sent the moving guy after $3,500 cashed him out
And where is that mobile home
to come
now?
to, because the township won't let us get put on there. Because Kevin Arquette's not the building inspector anymore. He let us pull it right on, boom, 3 months or less. It's been a year now, come on.
Where is the mobile home now?
Justin House's storage lot, wherever that is in Tecumseh. He never showed me,
Is it Lenawee
but my mother
County?
has the title, yes, sir.
And why isn't it on your mother's property?
Because Bob Hackett and John Gould have an issue.
Who are-
But everybody
who are
else
they?
is, the building inspector and the township supervisor.
All right,
It's 6 months ago, I couldn't tell you, I couldn't put it together that fast, but now I can.
and have you made efforts to get that decision reversed?
Yes, I didn't take a picture, but I mean, the trailer's out of there, Lincoln's truck sold. I did a lot since September, you know. I went to New York, I went back to New York, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get somewhere. Allegedly, I gotta do what I gotta do.
And another thing, recently you have approached LEAC about assistance.
Again, yes, because I already was approved for 854, but because of my contingencies with the law and up in Jackson, a year and a half ago, before any of this happened, I tried to get expungement. And then the phone broke. She could be a witness to it. Her and Kirsten were trying to get me there. Whatever the expungement deal was here at the courthouse a year and a half ago in August, maybe two now. I was supposed to be in on that because my other charges were able to be expunged, so I could get a house without any problems. Because the house I was living in, from Chris Farian telling me that he was gonna, oh man, I got brand new funding down here. Okay, well, let's get it. He said that numerous times with Nikki, you know, the one, Nikki Jones,
Yeah.
that's her name is. You're lucky I remembered without paperwork.
Do you have the funding now, or at least some of the funding,
For what?
to get a home?
As long as I structure myself like I was doing yesterday, trying to talk to my buddy about it. He showed me one here in Adrian and told me what I could do. Well, I, had to get to the bank today, and that's what I did before I came here. So got my check picked up that's been in there for 2 weeks.
Why should the court seriously consider returning your children to you, or even giving you parenting time? What is better today than it was when the children were removed from your custody?
I believe their mother's gone out of my life because she decided to be the person that she was and still is today. I've been approached by a detective, special narcotics, or special detective Craig Lee. Don't know why, but I'm gonna find out.
Well, I don't understand what police have to do.
Well, they got a lot to do with it because she's doing something behind somebody's back, the laws, like she's been doing since we had tried to get her in trouble with Laura J. Shade.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. I'm not sure the relevance of this line of questioning.
I have no response.
Okay, if you could move on to a new question.
Yes. I'm trying to get to what, I don't care about your expanded world and family members. I want to know what's different about you at 1:45
Well, I've
in the
lost
afternoon.
57 pounds.
From
I'm a
what?
lot healthier, I believe.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm a lot healthier than I was. I mean, I can't hear out of this eardrum yet. Obviously, it's been busted for 10 years. But that's, not my fault that COVID came along. I didn't invent it.
What else?
I believe since I had COVID 5 years ago, I got sicker and everything, and like mutated my genes, and now something did it, because if I was working for Barron's in Tecumseh for 5 years and I ran the records and I was right up there with Neil's, I recall I needed to be.
I'm interested in your relationship with your 5 kids.
Okay, they went with me in the record. They went over to they were racing that shop for 4.5, 5 years is what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay,
If Barron's, if Candy had to be there, if old man Stevie, Lucas is dead now, but Kirsten beat me up at his funeral, real good, huh?
how would your children's situation be improved from what it was a year ago?
Because I still have the same people that are trying to drag me out of the mud with her and get me away from her. Because I didn't know what was really going on. But you know what? In the last year, I've investigated so much that you guys should understand.
Can you give the judge any specifics
Like what she did or about my kids?
about your kids?
Well, even, I can't say I go by there, but I've had people go by there and them kids don't go outside as much as they did when I had them. I told John Bailey, he said, man, I know how you are with your kids. I see the CO that I was in jail with. I talked to him about him. He said, man, I know you go to the end of the world over your kids. Everybody I talk to, I tell that because it's going to happen. Now, if I'm being very diverse to try to figure out to get back to him, obviously I did a lot of things with him. Lincoln had a blue Chevy truck. When he gets home, that's gone. He's not going to like it because I don't understand his autism. He would act out all the time and I didn't understand it. And I had to deal with it. How many times did I cry? You'd have to ask my mom. But, when the world don't deal with your issues for your kids, like your autism or your dyslexia, how are you supposed to deal with those things? You don't deal with them with pills because that's not a natural form.
Sir, you're getting off the track of my very specific question. My very specific question is, how is life going to be better for your children today if the judge gives them back?
I have to get a vehicle for them today. But a house, I could go and do the motel thing for now till we get the house with Leac. Now, they said in July I had 90 days and all the health problems and not doing everything, and then the jail stuff and just everything got pushed away, and I missed it by 4 days.
Are you eligible today?
Yes, I can get back in there. I could have went today. Wednesday, they were closed due to the snow.
Do you have any leads?
We had one last night, if I had the funding.
I thought you said you did have the funding.
You've got to go and re-sign up and that's it. With my issue, I guarantee you I can get it because I only get $454 a month and they're taking $12,000 of child support this year. So say I ain't funding my kids is crazy.
All right.
They got $5 grand of mine stood up right now in St. Clair Shores in an IOTLA account. We're keeping it there because they're trying to take too much money from Jackson and out of my money right now. They're taking $500 a month child support and I haven't even got my kids. How's that legal?
Is there anything more you want the court to know?
That my kids would love to take baths and do other things and eat and help me with, you know, salsa, whatever they wanted to do. They did it with me. Whether it be wrestle around, wrestle outside, play outside, go down the, you know, go fast in the Camaro or the truck. I lived in that house for 5 years. We did everything. Last year we went to Lake Michigan and Torch Lake and we had a detective follow us and I wondered why. Now I know why today. I'm not very accusatory on any of these situations because I can prove every one of them.
Is that everything you have to say, sir?
Huh? On what?
Is that all you have to tell the
Sir, you
court?
need to take your phone away from the microphone. Thank you.
Do you have anything else you want to tell the court?
That I've missed a lot of time with them, and every time they've said that I couldn't care about them or go to a meeting or go to a doctor's appointment, you know, they gave my daughter 9 shots after they shouldn't have, right? I had that signed off in Jonesville, or his mother did. There's a lot of issues here that are allegation against the courts and not just me.
I'm more interested in what's for
For me,
you.
right, and I understand that because obviously it's going in a better direction if we talk that way. No, I've lost a lot of train of thought on things, and growing as a human, I regenerated because I didn't have my energy field. My kids were my energy field. You know, Lincoln would go to me to big wheels. Dustin would go to big wheels. They'd be allowed to out there. Lincoln would help clean up messes. I was 5 years old picking up my first bolts in Rowan, Michigan. I ain't looked back since. I ain't a millionaire yet, but I got an understanding of what I want to
Your
do.
Honor, I need to object to this line of testimony in general. I believe it's non-responsive and also irrelevant at this point in time.
I have no response to that objection.
Did you have any other questions?
No.
There's
Any
a few on
questions
there.
today, Ms. Thomas?
There's a few on there.
Mr. King, please stop interrupting. Ms. Thomas, do you have any cross-examination for this witness?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Wait. Miss Thomas didn't question him. What the heck? We come for you, Miss Thomas. You're the star of the show when it comes to the dads. Fine. It's fine. It's fine. He said enough, right? He's already said enough.
Mr. King, why are you seeing all these doctors if you refuse to take any medication to correct your
Well,
issues?
let's see. What do you mean to correct my issue? Has there ever been a cure in my lifetime?
So I'm asking you the question, why are you refusing to take medications that
Have
are
you proved what
recommended
they
by
can
doctors?
perform? Yeah, exactly. They're recommended.
So you're
So you're gonna tell me,
Sir,
Go
I'm
ahead.
here asking the questions today. Thank you. So you have all these diagnoses that are affecting you. Why are you refusing to remedy them with medication?
because it says right in the email what you need to use. You need natural B12, you need folic acid. You don't need cereal to make folic acid for methylation process. My methylation process is off of my detoxing in my liver, which is your homeocysteine, which is your platelet and plasma in your blood.
Okay, so how does that affect your ability to
Because it
provide
fatigues.
I'm not done answering my question.
It fatigues me. It drops me down.
So that prevents you from getting a stable house for your children?
What do your do you know what your B and T cells do for you, man?
Again, sir, I'm here asking the questions, not you.
I understand that, but you're not giving me any leeway on what I know to tell you.
Right, I'm just asking how these diagnoses that you purportedly have affect your ability to put a roof over your children's head.
Because there was a lump so bad in my throat, and the brain tumors between the cerebral stem cell sac, or whatever they're calling it now, the posterior acronoid cyst controlled me. If you've never had it, you wouldn't know. So when I got so down deficiency in vitamin D, and I had to keep going to the wellness clinic, I ain't been to the wellness clinic in a year and a half because I couldn't afford it. So now I've been figuring it out myself, like you're saying. So ivermectin and all these other things. The baking soda is what's been helping me gain ground and gain knowledge again. I had the understanding here. I was a very smart
So,
individual.
so your doctor indicated that your cyst should not affect your parenting. Did you hear him say that?
Right, but.
Is that
he
a yes
also
or no?
said he
That's a
has
yes or
not
no
done the
question, sir.
96. No, he has not done the 96-hour study.
But did he indicate on the record today that your cyst does not likely impact your parenting? Yes
He
or
did
no?
not understand the question correctly. No,
You didn't, or the doctor didn't, sir?
the doctor didn't.
Okay. You say you have funds now. Have you willingly provided any sort of financial
You guys
support
would
to your
not let me.
children over the last year?
They would not let me. How do I answer this, Brooks? They would not let me near them or be around them. So they're throwing questions at me that are making me retaliatory for no reason.
Okay. You indicated that nobody from the department's helping you, but haven't we attempted to try to get, or haven't they attempted to try to get you psychiatric evaluations to help with your diagnosis?
Where can we go? You're making a very accusatory question that leads into another one.
Yeah, I'm just asking, the department has attempted
Not
to
being
get.
formal.
Okay, can you let me ask a question?
If you're formal, yes.
So the department has attempted to have you have a psychiatric evaluation, is that correct?
Yes, I can't pay $200 each visit for the one in Dearborn, so we got to try to figure out my insurance again. I've asked Megan, I've asked Ashley to be more conservatory with everything, and we're not.
Okay,
Because of a 50-year-old conspiracy over things, it has nothing to do with my children.
thank you. No, I'm done asking that question.
No.
You indicated that you have people driving by the placement's home. Is that accurate?
If somebody sees something and says, hey, are your kids ain't outside? Why? I don't know. Ask them. Don't ask
So
me.
my question is, do you have people driving by?
I don't have
Placement's
nobody driving by there.
Okay,
But Anna come by my mother's the other morning. I followed her all the way to Adrian.
Yep.
At 6:10 in the morning. If you
okay,
don't believe me, I come and pick my mother up
okay.
because of it. And I called her.
So if the children
Get a
were
little-
returned to you today, how would you provide a roof over their
I
heads?
would probably get out of town if you guys allowed me help to get out of there because I don't want to be near her.
So you don't have stable
you
housing?
would- I've been
Sir?
shot. at.
Sir, you don't have stable housing, correct?
Today,
Correct.
you're putting words in my mouth.
No further questions. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, did you want any redirect opportunity, Mr. Brooks?
How much damage do you think has been done to your relationship with your kids by the 1 year absence?
A lot. But I understand where a bond is that probably didn't get left off because when I said I wake up every morning to my daughter, for them to say my kids weren't saying, I love you, Dad. My mother's right there. She understands what my daughter said. I slept in the bed. I slept in the living room. Nobody cleaned the house up, dude. It got so bad. I got so sick. I couldn't do nothing. I kept telling my landlord. Obviously, he bought me out of the place because I was so sick. I couldn't do nothing. But nobody cared. I kept telling him I had stuff going on. I had pressure up here. My buddy's got it like this right now. I've been trying to get him into the doctor in Toledo. I went to school with this guy. And he said, dude, you used to have something right there. And I said, yeah, it's been going down. The pressure's going down. I don't have as much headaches. I don't puke. I don't nothing. Obviously, the pressures are relieved. So obviously, I'm doing better. Chris wants your email. That owns Fast Guys.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay, any recross?
No, Your Honor.
I know I just said that's a great idea. I just said that. Guys, calm down. Nobody's going to reach out to these people in real life, ever. Never. We would never reach out to someone in real life. It was a joke that as soon as I typed it, I realized I'd made a huge mistake. We can't talk to these people in real life ever for no reason, under no circumstances. It was a joke.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
None, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Any other witnesses, Mr. Brooks?
No, Your Honor.
Any witness presentation today, Ms. Underwood?
Your Honor, I'll call Sherry McKinney, please.
Okay. Madam Sherry McKinney appears to us by Zoom.
I'm here.
Thank you, Mr. Kinney. Can you please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, Sherry, I'm just going to remind you we are on YouTube, so if you could just refrain from utilizing the children's names, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Could you state your full name for the record, please?
Sherry Ann McKinney.
And Ms. McKinney, what is your role in this case?
Foster parent, foster mom to all 3 minor King children.
Okay. We would say, just for clarification for the record, the youngest 3, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when did these children come into your care?
We got them November 20th was the first night of 2024.
Okay. So they've been living with you for over a year now, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I know you've already testified to this in another trial. However, I'm going to ask you some similar questions. Can you describe each of the children's behavior when they came into care?
Oh, heartbreaker. The oldest one was in the worst shape. He experienced a lot of trauma and everything. He was used to what he refers to as the tent life, is what he calls it. He would just pull his pants down and poop on the carpet upstairs, pee everywhere. He didn't eat with silverware. He would eat with his hands. He would go into fits of rage automatically. He was very angry, aggressive, non-compliant with a lot of things. He didn't know normal childhood things that, a normal 4-year-old at the time would be involved in. The middle child would also eat with his hands and stuff. They didn't know how to brush their teeth. Either one of the boys knew how to brush their teeth or anything about it. They didn't know basic hygiene. They didn't sit down and eat properly. They didn't have any table manners. They didn't. They couldn't even color with a crayon.
Your Honor, I not only cannot hear the witness testify, my client is sitting here arguing with me about procedure.
Because she's arguing about.
Would you like me to ask him to participate by Zoom from the hallway or another room?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. I think that's appropriate. I too have had trouble hearing and making sure that I'm able to understand the witness
Well,
testimony.
nobody wants to get involved in
So
this whole
Mr.
matter
King, you're
anymore.
welcome to try the hallway,
Charles,
and if
nobody
that
wants to
doesn't
get
work,
involved in this whole matter.
okay. If that doesn't work for you, then we have a lockup option
I
available
don't
to
want to
you.
be locked up. I'll lock it.
All right, you're welcome to log into Zoom if you wish.
I don't want to be in this shit.
Thank you.
I don't understand what you guys.
Mr. King, you're gonna need to leave the courtroom.
I think I do. I don't understand now.
Ma'am, you're gonna need to refrain from making comments too.
That's
I
absolutely.
apologize for the interruption, but I couldn't hear arguing with me.
You weren't the only one, Mr. Brooks. All right. I'm sorry for the interruption. Ms. Underwood, if you want to redirect your witness or begin again, it's up to you.
Sure. Ms. McKinney, I think you were talking about the middle child and his behaviors when he came into your care. Is that correct? If you could just continue.
Yes. Okay. The middle child, he also, ate with his hands, didn't know how to use silverware. They didn't have, they couldn't, neither one of the boys even knew how to hold a crayon to sit down and color a picture with crayons like a normal 3 and 4-year-old would at the time. God, they've advanced so much.
Now,
They
and then the
were-
youngest, she was just a year old or so when you had her, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So we basically, to be blunt, had to teach all 3 kids together how to use silverware when they're eating, basic, table manners, and teaching the boys to go potty in the toilet, things like of that nature.
When the boys came into
We-
care, would they hoard food as well during meal times?
Yes, especially Lincoln. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
it's okay.
The oldest of these 3 minor children, he would stuff food in his pockets, and he would say that he was saving some for later. And at the time, he was going to Trenton Hills Learning Center, and there was a lot of times when his teacher had recalled before he came into our care that he would bring his backpack to school empty, and he would take all the snacks that he could and fill up his backpack and say so he could take food home to his little brother and his baby sister because they didn't have food. So yeah, he was used to hoarding food to have something to eat for later.
Okay. I'm going to move on to the next question. And
Okay.
I know that I believe the boys were 4 and 3 when they came into your care. Is that right?
Yes.
And was their speech very, very difficult to understand?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, since being in your care, is it true that both boys have been in regular schooling and received speech plans
Your
and things?
Honor, excuse me, but I'm objecting on the grounds that counsel's questions are highly leading. She's practically testifying herself.
Any response?
I can rephrase.
Thank you.
Have the children started regularly attending school since being in your care?
Yes, I have.
Are they receiving speech services and other services that they need?
Yes, I do. Both boys.
Do they receive regular doctor and dental care?
Yes.
Okay. Has the youngest been evaluated for early on?
Yes.
Is she receiving services?
Yes.
Okay. As far as the oldest child in your care, there have been some concerns about his behavior with his younger brother. Is that correct?
Your
Yes.
Honor, Your Honor, counsel's continuing to just lead the witness.
I would have to agree on that, Ms. Underwood.
Have there been issues between the siblings since being in your care?
Yes, there has. Would you like me to express those issues?
I guess what have been your major concerns with, if any, with the siblings?
As far as the oldest of the 3 minor children that we have in our care has 2 major issues going on that I'm really, really concerned with. One was his sexual aggression, and he was waking his younger brother up in the middle of the night, touching his private parts and pulling on them. So we had to separate them into other bedrooms and take a lot of drastic measures to keep the middle child safer from his sexual behaviors that he was experiencing.
Okay.
And then
Is that child receiving any sort of services for those concerns?
at this time, he was seeing a therapist for that, but the therapist that he was seeing just kind of went off the radar. So we are in the middle of trying to get him a new therapist, but he does have a counselor at school that he talks to. And he has wraparound services that we're always engaged in.
Okay. Could you describe the changes you've seen in each of the three children over the last year?
Oh God. They're all three always very happy, very energetic. The oldest and the middle are doing wonderful in school. They go to school every day unless they're sick. They love being involved with other students, with other parents, with the teachers. There's not, all the chaos. They love a normal routine in life, the consistency. They're vibrant, they're learning, they're doing so good. Their health, their dental, everything is on target. They're doing wonderful.
Okay. And they've learned to use utensils in the toilet and.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that you believe it would be important for this court to know today?
Ms.
Just
King,
that-
I can hear your comments, and if it happens one more time, I'm gonna ask you to step out as well. Please refrain from making comments. Go ahead.
I would just like the court to really take into consideration how fulfilled these children's lives are. They have a safe, stable home that they enjoy every day coming home to. They love the normal childhood experiences, and they're very healthy now. They're very well kept. They're very well mannered, and they're doing great. They're living their best life. That's all I want for them.
And if necessary, or if it came to that point, would you and your partner be willing and able to provide permanency for these children?
Oh yes, 199 without a shadow of doubt. Yes, completely.
Thank you. I have no further questions, but the other attorneys might.
Okay, Ms. Thomas, any questions?
Ms. McKinney, I know that you've provided quite a bit of testimony in Ms. Miller's
Okay,
case, but
sorry, hang on a second. Ms. King, you're gonna have to leave the courtroom. Please make your way to the hallway.
I just don't approve of some things that are shacked up together, not living for the Lord. Or get my paper, please.
Thank you. All right.
It's okay.
She
Go ahead.
has to stay in the hallway. You're right.
sorry about that, Ms. McKinney. You've testified in Ms. Miller's case, and so I'm sorry if some of these questions are redundant. And to clarify, are you related to Ms. Miller?
My spouse is Miss Miller's uncle.
And do you have an ongoing do you and your spouse have an ongoing relationship with Ms. Miller?
No.
And if you were to provide permanency through adoption, can you help the court understand how you would protect them from future harm?
I will do anything and everything, for these kids. I provide them, all their medical needs, all their educational needs. We want to get them involved with sports and everything. I would give my life to protect these kids, but also now that question is kind of out there, if this does go to the next step of permanent placement, Josh and I both 199 hands down, we will do that. But I would personally like personal protection order, especially against Dustin King, to help me protect the kids. Especially if I'm in a public place with the kids, I fear his behavior and his outburst and how far it would go, and I don't want them to be subjected to that.
Have you felt threatened by Mr. King during this year that you've had placement of the children?
Oh, yes. And also before then, Yes, I've seen very violent natures from him before. And he was going by our house, driving by real slow and honking, 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 honking. Him and his mother both were. And yeah, he's a very aggressive nature about him.
And as you've provided care for the children over the last year, have they asked about their father?
To be brutally honest, no, none of them have.
I think Ms. Underwood asked most of the questions, so I have nothing further. Thank you so much, Ms. McKinney.
Welcome.
Okay, Ms. Berger, any questions?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Brooks?
I have none.
All right, any redirect, Ms. Underwood?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Any other witnesses?
I have no further witnesses.
Very well.
I
Comments?
can,
Thank you for your testimony, Ms. McKinney. That's all we need from you for today.
okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, let's head into closing arguments, please, beginning with Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. As relates to the review hearing, permanency planning hearing, I believe that the court report and the testimony we've heard today would support ongoing placement of the children and a continued permanency goal of adoption for these kiddos. And in order to allow these children to be freed for adoption, I see this court's very aware of the need to unfortunately terminate parental rights under clear and convincing evidence standard. In the petition, the agency has alleged that there's clear and convincing evidence to terminate Mr. King's parental rights under MCL 712A.19B3CI, in which Mr. King has been a respondent under these proceedings has been a respondent, and he was ordered into a case service plan more than 6 months ago. The conditions that led to the adjudication continue to exist. We've heard testimony that he still does not have stable housing. He does not have employment or sufficient income to meet the needs of the children. When these children were removed, they were found living in deplorable condition. We had photos of just how dirty and neglected they were. And Mr. King still has not taken any personal responsibility for their condition. We've had the trauma assessments in which the assessments came back indicating these children at such a very young age had complex trauma. And Mr. King also could not be bothered to attend his bonding portion of those assessments back in February of last year, I believe. We know that there was domestic violence in this home. I believe the incident that led to removal included him throwing canned goods at mom. And since then, we've had a further arrest, and he's pending. Those criminal charges are currently pending. He has not engaged in any services to address those concerns. His psychological evaluation indicated he needed psychiatric evaluation and needed to demonstrate some mental health stability. Despite the department, by way of the agency, providing those reasonable efforts, making the referrals, encouraging him to get Medicaid, and being available for him to utilize his support, he has been combative, nonsensical, and he has also disengaged at various points throughout this case. And so I believe that all those conditions that led to adjudication continue to exist. And I think his
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you very
testimony
much.
and his behavior throughout the year that we've even seen in court is very demonstrative that those conditions cannot and will not be rectified in a reasonable amount of time, considering those children's ages. I think that a lot of those same issues speak to subsection J of the statute, that there's a reasonable likelihood based on the conduct or capacity of the children's parents that the children would be harmed if returned to his care. We've heard how he has drove around the placement's house, and he has been very violent and threatening. They do not feel safe, and that's despite his children being there. He also has not demonstrated any acknowledgement of his own behaviors and how they have impacted the children's trauma or their own behaviors, I guess. And I think that speaks directly to the risk of harm that those children would face if they were ever to be returned to Mr. King's care. The best interest factors, I believe that as the record as a whole would demonstrate, by more than a preponderance of the evidence, it is in the children's best interest to terminate Mr. King's parental rights. We have an older child whose mother's rights are still intact, but even that child has not had contact with Mr. King for a year. We've heard how he is now thriving in his foster care home. And Mr. King has, in his testimony, what was very telling is he did not mention anything about the children or wondering how they're doing. He has not reached out to the agency to inquire. Even if his parenting time is suspended, sometimes we still have parents who will be very involved and engaged and try to complete whatever conditions are put on their parenting time in order to see their children. And we did not see that from Mr. King. And I think that speaks to the oldest child in particular and his best interest. This kiddo was transient with his dad, withheld from his mom. He was physically abused by dad's partner, and dad had him not in school and very brainwashed and manipulated, for lack of better words. And that's how the oldest child was removed from Mr. King and placed with his mother. As it relates to the other three children, I think that they are similarly situated for the court to consider their best interests together, despite the fact that they are in a relative placement. That is not Mr. King's relative. And we've heard from Ms. McKinney herself how her husband would like extra protection from him. So I don't believe that that would weigh in favor of maintaining parental rights at this point in time. We have relatives who are willing to provide permanency through adoption. They have been able to maintain the same community environment with these caregivers. And we've heard plenty of testimony, and through the reports, we've also seen through the progression of this case, how the children have been able to adapt to a more typical childhood. They don't have to live in a tent life anymore. They have shelter, they have toys, they're clean, they get to the doctors, they get to go to school and be part of a community. And I think all of those things really support this court finding that termination is in the children's best interests. Furthermore, these children, because of what they were exposed to so early on in life, have so many special needs, and obviously those neurological conditions also need to be addressed, and they need to continue to receive treatment. And the parents, Mr. King particularly, did not do anything to address that prior to removal. And we've had caregivers who have had to step in and get these children stabilized. And there's nothing that demonstrates that Mr. King would be able or willing to do that if they were in his care. For those reasons, Your Honor, we're asking the court to terminate Mr. King's parental rights, commit the children to the department for adoption purposes, and grant any other relief this court deems necessary at this point in time, specifically as it relates to protections for them in their placements. Thank you.
Okay. Comments today, Ms. Berger?
Thank you, Your Honor. I am in agreement with the department. I've been able to talk with my client several times. And although he is fairly young, he really has a lot of insight into himself and to his family situation and the things that he's experienced. And he does wish for his father's rights to be terminated.
Wait.
He's very blunt with me with that, very honest.
Isn't he 4 years old? Wasn't it two children, one 4-year-old, one 3-year-old? So maybe he's 5 now? Come on.
Very open, and has been steadfast since I started meeting with him. Before even there was a termination trial scheduled, he was like, I'm done. I do not want to be with him anymore. I do not want him to be able to, reach me, contact me, anything like that. So, I last spoke with him less than a week ago, and he was still the exact same in the exact same position. So, he is in support of the agency and of the.
Can't be 4, can't be 5, has to be older. How old is this Lincoln? She accidentally slipped the name. He has to be, what she's saying makes him sound like a teenager. But I don't know.
petition. I believe it's in his best interest. He believes it's in his best interest. And I think that in not doing so, it would subject him to such a backward slide that it would be almost dangerous for him just to even have that option open in the future. So we are in support of it. We would ask that the court grant it and that it allow him some levity, I guess, in the situation and some calmness for him, knowing that there's at least one less person who could subject him to the things that he's been subjected to in the past. Thank you.
Mr. Brooks, any comments?
Representing this client in this case has presented its challenges. All I can say to this court is, before you can terminate parental rights, you must prove by preponderance or by the overwhelming evidence that there is no other alternative. And I submit to you that that's what I have to say. That should be proof, clear and convincing evidence that his parental rights should be terminated.
Thank you. Ms. Underwood.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll just first briefly provide a report on all the children. The oldest child who is placed in a non-relative foster placement is thriving. He's had a rough road, as this court's aware. He was originally placed with a non-respondent parent who then since has become a respondent and then removed from her care. This is the most stability he's had in a very long time. And although he's torn because he's old enough to know, and frankly, he's been exposed to and remembers the most out of all of the children. He is resilient, he is bright, and I see great things happening for him in the future. Where he's placed is absolutely in his best interest and continues to be in his best interest. And it's where he wishes to remain at this time as well. He's very closely bonded, especially with the female caregiver in the home. And they're doing a wonderful job of making sure that he receives all of the medical, mental health, and educational needs that he has. With the youngest three, they're all much younger, too young to really demonstrate a true preference. But I mean, I think if you were to ask them all, they love living where they're at. They are also thriving. They're getting all of the needs that they have, which is an overwhelming amount met in their placement. They're able to remain together, which is wonderful. They're going to school, they're getting the medical care they need, and they have that stability and love and nurturing that they were lacking for a very long time. This is such a sad case. The reasons for removal were just terrible. And the life they live now compared to a year ago is just 180 degrees different. And for that, I'm very grateful that the youngest three have a placement that is so loving and nurturing. They should continue to remain in that placement. And I believe it provides them the most permanency and stability. As far as this termination trial goes, Your Honor, I'm really passionate about this case because it's a difficult one when you have a parent who's blaming literally every person, every agency, everyone they can point the finger at, while apparently on a conquest to find the truth for their health, yet they're refusing to engage in any health services that are provided to them. I think the department has certainly met its burden in attempting to engage with Mr. King, assist him in finding services, assist him in finding healthcare providers, assist him in a myriad of things, and he has simply refused to do so. Aside from a couple of therapy visits over the last month, I don't think Mr. King has done anything toward his case service plan. And frankly, he's a danger to the children. I think he's potentially a danger to the placement. And to be honest, I'm glad that I'm on Zoom today because I'm not certain how he would react if he saw me in person. He's a loose cannon, and it's unfortunate that he's not getting the mental health help that he needs because he would truly be better off if he could do that. I believe the department has met its burden. I think it's certainly in the children's best interests for Mr. King's parental rights to be terminated. I know it is the wish of the oldest minor child, as well as he's old enough to demonstrate that preference. And it's my recommendation as well that termination be granted in this case. It's not only met by an overwhelming amount of evidence, but also if you look at the best interest factors, it certainly favors the best interest of all the children. Thank you.
Well, thank you. The court finds all interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's hearing. That was, of course, not only for the review and permanency planning piece, but also the termination, the hearing on the petition for termination of parental rights as it relates to Dustin King. The court's already reviewed on record that he was personally served back in November with that termination petition. In addition to being told a number of times that it was coming and some other opportunities to look that over. It's been filed since October 2nd, 2025. The findings as it relates to permanency as well as a general review are very much similar to the findings that the court needs to look at for purposes of whether or not to grant a request to terminate parental rights. Effectively, the termination analysis is a little bit wider in this court's opinion than a regular review hearing. For example, the court always has to look at whether or not it's safe to return the children to the care of a parent after disposition in a case like this, whether or not there's been any progress made in the case services plan. And those are very short summaries of the same statutes that the court is asked to look at for purposes of clear and convincing evidence in support of a termination for parental rights under MCL 712A.19B3, 4 and 5. I'm sorry, 19B3 CI and J. But the request for termination also asks the court to consider whether or not not only the conditions that led to the adjudication continue to exist, but whether or not there's a reasonable likelihood that they could be rectified within a reasonable time considering the child's ages. So in short, there is clear and convincing evidence that that the statutory grounds for termination have been met under MCL 712A.19B3 CI and J in this case. Certainly Dustin King's been a respondent for more than 182 days. He's had nearly a year to work on his disposition order. Let's see, 2/4/2025. So he's not quite at a year yet, but the court has to look at the case every 6 months for permanency at a minimum, and the children were all effectively removed from his care November 21st, 2024. As Ms. Underwood went over, the older child was removed from Mr. King, but then also removed from his other parent in August of 2025. But effectively, all 4 of these children have been removed from Mr. King, again, since November 21st, 2024. It should have been no surprise, really, to Mr. King that the court would have expected him to find housing for himself and his child, to find employment, to provide transportation for them, to meet their basic needs. Those were all really simple things that were outlined at the outset of the case. We've heard about the devastating conditions the children were found in at the time of removal. I've heard about that several times over the course of the time the courts had jurisdiction, and Ms. McKinney's had to recount some of that again for us today. The children are certainly not in the same conditions that they were at the time of removal, but unfortunately Mr. King is. He has failed to find himself suitable living conditions. He's not able to provide really for himself, let alone provide for his children. And he clearly has untreated mental health conditions that continue to contribute to an additional significant risk of harm to their mental and physical health. His behaviors today, his testimony has been very consistent over the course of the hearings that he's participated in, and are described in terms of the psychiatric symptoms, in some of the records that were supplied even today from Adrian Counseling and Psychiatric Care as being concerning for his own mental health, and certainly would be concerning as it relates to whether or not he should have care of his children. He's reiterated to different service providers, including his psychological evaluator and the ACPC staff, as well as to child protection staff and workers, and even to the court at times, that he is and has been a good parent, that he sees no problem with his parenting skill sets, but rather that it's his litany of physical health conditions that get in his way. Further analysis of that was really complicated. It seemed to really be a reflection more of his mental health conditions impacting even his physical health practitioner's ability to determine whether or not he had some issues. The best the court was able to see was that he has been diagnosed with a brain tumor, but we had confirmation from his own neurologist today that that should not have gotten in the way of his parenting, nor his physical health in any way at this juncture, nor in the past. And Ms. Underwood cross-examined the neurologist specifically as to whether or not that would have related to his past decision-making as a parent, as well as his current decision-making as a parent. And the neurologist confirmed on both points that would not have affected him. As to the rest of his claims on his physical ailments, and I'm just using that term to broadly describe the litany of, to use Mr. Brooks's terminology, varied and sundry diagnoses that he shared with us. There simply wasn't any definitive proof that any of those things existed, number one, but number two, that any of those things could have been the cause of why his children were found essentially in a very very dangerous and feral condition at the time of removal. There was no way forward to show how fixing any of those things would have helped him become a better parent. And all of those pieces are simply things that the court takes the time to note in order to support the fact that there's clear and convincing evidence here that these children would be harmed, and that there's no reasonable time moving forward that we could see Mr. Dustin King remedying any of the conditions that brought his children into care. He hasn't done so at this point. He continues to insist to this day that medication and treatment for his psychological issues remains something he's not interested in doing in any uncertain terms. And yeah, so all of the areas that were considered by the court at the time of removal certainly do continue to be in place, and certainly there is no reasonable time that we could expect him to improve in those areas, considering that they have been in place for a year, and at the time of removal had been in place for a significant time before that. All of those things do clearly provide evidence also that there is a reasonable likelihood that his continued conduct would place all of his children in harm's way. And the record is certainly replete with additional evidence on these points. It's almost redundant for the court to even highlight some of the facts and circumstances. The court record that's been developed over the period of time since February through today is absolutely very thorough with regard to the analysis that was provided to the children, the trauma assessments and CMH assessments, and continued monitoring through opportunities for programs like Orchard's Family Services, which is a parenting assistance program, and Brene Moore, who is one of our experts that spoke to the risks associated with parenting time. You have the trauma assessments on parenting time also. And as Ms. Underwood noted, Mr. King didn't even bother to participate in two of those assessments to look at whether or not his bond with the children was healthy, or could be improved, or could be analyzed and supported in a way that would allow him to even see his children. Throughout the case, he's not been able to visit with his children because of stalwart support against parenting time, because of both the practical observations of the children's reactions as well as the support of professionals, including many that the court's already shared. And that really takes the court into part of what we look at.
Seriously though, guys, the system did work this time. You know what I mean? They watched these kids, they got them out, and they watched them whenever they were with the father. And this time, the system, I mean, this freaking foster woman is, there's no words to describe how amazing she is. She's a something of an aunt. Like, she's not really family. She's like separated by, and oh man, they did really well this time. I think the system for these kids, I just feel so great for them. You know, I mean, I just can't believe how, because it's a lot, it's always, you know, it's their best with their parents, try to make it work out for their parents, you know, and then to do that, you have to put the kids through so much trying to make it work with the parents. But not this, I mean, this judge was pissed at that father before before his first utterance. She didn't even need to hear anything. She was ready.
For best interest factors analysis, in this case, the parent-child bond is always a major consideration for the court as it relates to each of the children. The oldest child, Ms. Underwood took the time to highlight his preferences. He's clearly old enough to express a preference and was very adamant that he does not want anything to do with his father. It's clear that his bond with his father is characterized by the extensive abuse and neglect that he suffered while in the care of his father.
But it's not. Kids' safety should always be number one, but it's not. No. Parental rights, you know, is number one. They're the parents. So, you know, we have to, before we just make decisions like this, I mean, even my kids, they don't talk to their father ever at all. And there's really good reasons for it. You know, I mean, it's not like they just willy-nilly decided one day, I'm just not going to talk to my dad ever again. You know what I mean? But still, my mother, in the midst of all the drama that's going on, me and my mother were like, I haven't spoken to her. I called the police on her twice in the last couple of months. Well, even my mother had called my son 2 weeks ago, a week ago, I don't know, days smushed together. Let's just go with 10 days ago. And she's like, give me money. And why don't you talk to your father? And my son's like, what do you mean talk to my father? I haven't spoken to him in years. She goes, yeah, he's your dad. Why aren't you talking to him? My son's like, why would I talk to him? He left. I gave him a chance. He didn't take it. He didn't talk to me. Yeah, but he's your father. So, like, and the courts are like, parental rights. You know, parents have all these rights. So, Eileen, I heard what you said, that, you know, it was so bad in this case, the system had to work. That's not true a lot of the times. Like, it's bad, and the courts, the system, they try to make it work. They try to fix it. And, you know, this time fixing it is like, you're out of here. Bye. Goodbye. You're done. I hope that the judge in this hearing grants that protection order right now, this second. Yeah, children are considered the parents' property. That is absolutely, it's true. It's just true. So I'm so thankful that the system just worked the way it was supposed to this time. We see these cases all the time, but this case, you know, these children, I mean, they were saved. These children were finally saved, hopefully. Hopefully that that aunt or whatever is not just a great liar. Bren is totally famous, man. I only have famous people in my chat. Where's Bill? Bill. Anyway, let's get to the end.
He's still struggling with some very significant challenges, especially for a child his age. And I'm just going to say that rather than articulating those specifically on the record again, as our caseworker has already done, I'm going to take judicial notice of her testimony as well as the documentation that was provided in the court report today to say that he has significant behavioral and mental health needs that he is working diligently on. He's making progress, but they still remain challenges, and those challenges are a direct result of how he was treated while he was in the care of his father. And that he hasn't forgotten that, and that's clearly impacted his bond with his father. And he's struggling to develop relationships with parental figures and support people that resemble something supportive rather than damaging for him. And he'll likely be tackling that for many years to come. The same is true of the other 3 children concerned. The oldest of that sibship of 3 also continues to demonstrate really significant challenges that were accumulated along the way as he was exposed to his father's parenting. And those have been reviewed on the record many times as well. So there were some really significant and devastating things that the older of the 3 went through, that he continues to struggle with. Ms. McKinney went through how he describes the tent life and some of the things that he went through, and has consistently talked about how this child's special needs impact both her life and the lives of his siblings. We've also heard along the way that his reactions to parenting time with mother or father in this case triggered really significant mental health issues for him, behavioral issues for him, which certainly reflects on the bond between the parent and the child in this case, and what that looked like for that child. The other children also had pretty significant reactions, but that child especially seems to have struggled, as Ms. McKinney pointed out, as a result of the length of time he had been exposed to the parenting of his father and mother, but father is who we're talking about in this case, Mr. Dustin King. All 3 of the sibship have significant trauma. They were found with significant delays and diagnoses and dental issues, and many of those things they have overcome and made significant strides in since being placed into the relative foster placement. The relationship between the relative placement and Mr. King was explored by Ms. Thomas, I should say. And it is not something that the court can allow to weigh against the best interest findings, considering that Mr. King is certainly more of a threat, frankly, than support for that family placement. That family placement for the younger 3 and the foster care placement for the oldest child are certainly the best placements that these children have been in for some time. And at this juncture, the court does look at comparing those 2 environments. That has been the support that has allowed all 4 of these children to make some really significant progress, and speaks to the children's resiliency and hope for their future. This parent did not make any progress around developing parenting skills or even understanding why the environment that he had created for them was such a problem. That was in large part, in this court's opinion, as a result of his unstable mental health, which he continued to demonstrate up and through today. Our caseworker, as well as the guardian ad litem, and even the attorney for the oldest child, all support, and are experts that support that termination is in the best interest of all 4 of these children. The oldest, all 4 are similarly situated in a sense that this parent, the court's asked to analyze today, would certainly be a significant risk of harm in returning them to his care for many reasons that I've already explored. And all of them, in different ways, have their own special needs that require a higher level of parenting as a result of that trauma that they've gone through. The youngest three have not really developed enough to express their wishes, but again, have demonstrated feeling comfortable, safe, and secure in their placements. So for all those reasons, I find that it is in the best interest of all four children to terminate the parental rights of Justin King. We're going to have our next review. The oldest child's other parent still remains part of proceedings and is working towards reunification. His next review, next review is set for January 6th at 10 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and allow that review date and time to also be our first post-termination review on the younger three, Sib Ship, who will now be committed to the department for purposes of adoption or other suitable placement. There will be no further efforts towards reunification with all four of these children and Mr. Justin King Sr., and nor will there be any efforts to prevent further removal. And the orders will reflect that. They will be served on Mr. King today, who I believe still remains in the hallway. At the volume level that I'm hearing is any indication. And unless there's any questions, that's all for today.
What was
Thank you,
the next review date, Your Honor?
Did you ask me the next date?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, January 6th at 10 a.m.
Whoa, what do you mean the next date? It's over. It's over. Why is there a next date? Is there 6 children, Eileen? I think there are 3 older and 3 younger. That is, hey, Linus, now that's just rude. That's savage. That's taking it to the next level. See, this is, Linus, you're the reason why men say women are crazy and psycho. Because you take it to the next level. I think 6 children, if there are 6 children, which I think that's what they said, the 3 oldest and the 3 youngest, I think asking that aunt to take 6 children is a lot. 5 children, that's a lot. That is a lot. And teenagers are hard to take. Because you know how teenagers are. Teenagers are, I still get stressed out, and my kids aren't teens anymore. But it was so hard, and that's not even the right way to say it. Hard. If you're here for court, this is all we're going to show today. Thank you for coming out. I hope you guys have a great day. All right. Teenagers were hard. And it's not like this part was hard or that part was hard. It was total hard for years and years and years. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It sounds like she took 3, right? Because she said she had to separate the youngest and the middle away from the oldest, which is not the oldest. No, you weren't, Bren. You weren't an angel as a teen. Do you even remember your teens? I can barely remember my teens, but I remember a few parts of it. I was the reason why teenagers are hard. But, so yeah, it's hard for it, and I don't want those children to be separated. I don't, at all. But the aunt is doing what she can for the little ones, and they have a chance. You know what I mean? I know the teenagers had a chance too if they could have been there. I know that. I do. But you know, the teenagers, oh man, they probably have such huge problems. I can't even imagine how. So yeah, the system didn't really work great because those teenagers, how long did they live like that? Maybe the teenagers were the mom's kids and they grew up in a normal environment before mom met this guy. Who knows? I don't know. Yo, your daughters were angels, but your son not so much? That's crazy. So my son is far from an angel. Far. But my eldest was the hardest. Still is to this day. She is so stubborn. She's so stubborn. And, you know, I have a lot to teach her. Just things I know that just from experience, you know what I mean? But it's hard for me to teach her anything because she already knows everything. You know what I mean? She already knows everything, so she doesn't listen. So when I have a conversation with her, like, I have to start at the beginning, like, you know, calm down. I'm not attacking you. No one's being attacked here. This isn't a fight. We are not comparing each other. I'm just showing you something. You know what I mean? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have the voice of an angel screaming and yelling and pounding and swearing at his computer all day. Stop camping. He says that a lot. He says that a lot. Spawn campers really annoy him. They really do. And you know what he does? He spawn camps. But oh no, Mel, no. My son, yeah, the school still remembers his name. That's for darn sure. Guaranteed. I guarantee you the school still remembers my son's name. My middle one, no. There's no way they remember her name. Nope, zero chance. My middle one, if they give a name, they would call her the oldest one's name. So the oldest one, I don't know if they remember her name, but my son, abso-freaking-lutely, they remember his name. Every single one of his teachers. Because he was. Louis is sassy. Oh, no, he's not. Louis is perfect. Hedwig. I had one on purpose. I have 3 children. First off, I was told I could not have children. So the first one was a shock. I was shocked and amazed. Because doctors said at 18 I would never have any children. And then I did it. And I was like, well, but inside of a marriage. I was married. And then one day it was like, holy, okay. And then the second one was planned, but again, I thought never going to happen. That was an accident. I can't have kids. The third one was absolutely an accident. 100% an accident. It was a Jägermeister baby. He just is a Jägermeister baby. I didn't even go out with my husband that night. I went out with my best friend, and we had so much Jaeger. Oh my God. And then she took me home. I should have. No, I still drink Jaeger. It's not one of those things like, I'm never going to touch Jaeger again. Oh, yes, I will. Kelly, you have 4 children. And your Captain Crunch Kelly's son streams ARC. So if you want to watch him stream, let me get his, hold on. Oh, I don't want to do it there. I must make a mistake, guys. I'm going to get you his link. Following. He's the only person I follow who is not all about work. I think. Hold on, I'm looking. It was buried, though. He should be right at the top because he was just streaming last night. Following. Here he is. I think this is the right link. Captain Crunch. Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when he's going to stream next. Yes, he is handicapped. He does great. He does a great job. It's a fun stream. Me and Monica watch it. Maybe more people can watch it. Amy, I had a stepchild too that was taken away, but sort of. So like I got married, and then my husband had a son prior, and then we took that son. So I had my 3 kids, and then I had my stepson, and then my husband left us. So, but the mom never came for the stepson. He stayed with me for a long time. I was able to teach him how to read and everything, and then she came one day and she just took him away, and there was nothing I could do about it. Like, he was just living with his mom now. He wanted to. He wanted to go live with his mom. So, you know, who am I? Okay. Tina said it was 4 total. 1 has a different mom, 3 are younger. And I believe Tina. Hi, Tina. For this case. We had it wrong. She said it right here in Twitch. It's right on the screen. The problem is I can't read that screen. I have to read this screen. Oh, I love butterscotch schnapps. I really do. It's delicious. Butterballs or buttery nipples. They're the same thing. They're just, in my day, they were butterballs, but as the world grew older, they turned into buttery nipples. You leave Linus alone. Me and her getting married someday. She's only going to eat biscuits with me. Yeah, he is. Is it a he, Linus? Linus is battling a freaking mountain with her cancer. I hope today's better than yesterday. And I hope if it's not, you just talk in Discord. I'll send you a whole bunch of memes. Jack Daniels is always good. It's always time for Jack Daniels. Oh, okay. Bren started with the food. I'm not in the mood for tacos. I had salmon last night.
I don't know my way around here either. Yeah.
Wait. Something's playing. Some court is playing. Oh, it's Captain Crunch. It's Captain Crunch. Can you hear that, guys? That's Kelly's son. I have to stop it because I have he definitely plays music. And I'll get nailed. Yeah, I did miss the joke because when I talk I can't read. It's not happening. I learned that year 1 of streaming. Try not to read when you talk because you'll forget everything. All right, it's time to set up O.J. Simpson. Oh my gosh, we are in the closing arguments. And we just started the closing arguments yesterday, and Marsha started closing, and then she called for a sidebar. We can't get rid of these sidebars no matter what we do. All right, let's set up OJ. I'm going to see you all there. You guys, I hope you have a great day. Come out Wednesday night, please, at 8 p.m. All right? Bye, guys. Have a great day. Thanks.
Well, I thought I'd write a happy song. I found a chat room where I belong. You don't know how much it means to me. With such a groove, I'm less lonely. Oh, Kathy's the creator, she's leading the way. At court vibes, we laugh and we stay. Her smile shines bright, she's got that grace. Come join the fun, it's a welcome and play. I can count on distraction from my pain, 'cause this creator takes you there and back again. Kathy is the heart here, always in stride. Her work is hard, but her joy she can't hide. Oh, Kathy's the creator, she's leading the way. At court vibes, we laugh and we stay. Her style is classy, she's always top shelf. Don't take my word, come and see for yourself. Her cases are new with a twist or two. I really like them, and see